And now it's time for the Sounds of the Emerald Isle with Jim Larkin. Join us every Sunday for Irish music, comedy, and fun. You can call Jim at 508-822-1106. And now here's Jim with the Sounds of the Emerald Isle.
We're on the one road, sharing the one load. We're on the road to God knows where. We're on the one road, maybe the wrong road. Together now, who cares? The Northmen, Southmen, comrades all, in Dublin, Belfast, Cork and Donegal. Oh, swinging along, we're singing a soldier's song. Though we've had our foes now and then, now's the time to make them up again. Sure, aren't we all Irish anyhow? Together, we're on the road, we're sharing the one road, we're on the road to God knows where. On the road, maybe the wrong road, but we're together now, who cares? The Northmen, Southmen, comrades all, in Dublin, Belfast, Cork and Donegal. On the road, singing along, we're singing a soldier's song. Is just before the dawn. From dissension, time and misery born. Soon we'll be united Irishmen. See how land and nation once again. We're on the road, sharing the one road. We're on the road to God knows where. We're on the road, maybe the wrong road. We're together now, who cares? And Northmen, Southmen, comrades all, in Dublin, Belfast, Cork and Donegal. One road, swinging along, we're singing a soldier's song. We're on the one road, sharing the one road. We're on the road to God knows where. We're on the one road, maybe the wrong road, but we're together now, who cares? Men, Southmen, comrades all, in Dublin, Belfast, Cork and Donegal. One road, swinging along, singing a soldier's song. The one road, swinging along, singing a soldier's song. On the one road.
Oh, John, nice. Fantastic. That's Brian Corcoran and Ben Parisi live on WVBH. Welcome to the show. My name's Jim Larkin. We'll be here for 2 hours with some Irish music, some Irish comedy, and some live music with Brian Corcoran and Ben Parisi. Brian, welcome back to Sounds of the Emerald Isle.
Thank you, Jim. Good to see you, pal.
Hey, it's always great to see you. It's after so many years of not seeing you, and great to have you back again.
Thank you so much.
And singing live.
Live. I thought it was a 20-minute show. It was 2 hours.
That's all right.
And Ben Parisi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you again after all these years.
Yes, it's been an awful long time.
Yes, it has.
And I'm glad you joined Brian today and came in. And you guys just sound great together.
You're very kind.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah, absolutely not bad. Yeah.
We're kids.
Yeah, and I like some of the YouTube videos I've seen of you too. Even though some of them are just clips you see a little bit, it's great stuff.
Yeah, they're illegal in most countries.
Yeah.
Somebody did that. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, everything's illegal here, though, isn't it? So, what have you been up to?
Just singing, going back and forth to Ireland.
Yeah.
You know.
You going to Ireland?
Ben's joining me this next trip in July. We're back again in July.
Is this your first time going over on the trip?
It is. I've been playing Celtic and Irish music for the last 40-something years.
Ben has played with other than dear friends like Eugene.
Yeah, Eugene Byrne, yeah.
Paddy Riley.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Makem.
Right.
Ben has played with
like the best of the best. Liam Clancy, played
Right.
bass with Liam.
Yeah.
So he's been around.
It's great fun.
Awesome.
Because
Well, maybe the question should be, who have you not played
Yeah,
with?
really, I mean,
That-
Jim, I hear
let's-
you play. I've never played along with you.
Oh, well, I don't play anymore, so.
Why not?
Oh, just can't do it anymore.
Oh, I understand.
I do a little bit with the city councils in Brockton, just the council chords, the name of them are, and just a couple of city events, but that's about it.
That's great.
Keeps you playing them.
It
Why do
does.
you keep playing?
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
miss it. I miss it.
You know, I still do. I'm still doing the senior circuit, as we say. You know, I do about 36 shows a month for different assisted living, Alzheimer units, rehab places.
And those are the best people to play for. They appreciate it so
they
much.
Do. I mean,
do.
They
Really do.
You know, and there are some situations, I may have mentioned this before, but I just said this to a guy who works in one of the facilities I sang at 2 days ago. If you could see what I see, there were people where, in the stage of life, but they know every word. What music does is just amazing.
Yeah.
They know every word.
Absolutely.
You know, I'll start songs like Embraceable You, or Brother Can You Spare a Dime,
Right.
or I'll do a little, Twirler Lure.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
in some places, I had a request last week for 4 green fields from this guy. And I
Yeah.
said, oh, sure, yeah.
I love
Oh, yeah.
the stories. He'll come back and he says, I'm playing in this retirement home in North Andover, and this guy's looking at me. And he grew up. I grew
Yeah.
up down the neighborhood, down the street from this guy.
Right.
And he doesn't realize it's me, but it does click.
Oh, yeah.
And then once he hears the name, then he realizes who he is.
Absolutely.
And that he's known him for 40, 50 years.
I had a woman who said to me, I think you were my newspaper boy. I said, this is the truth. I said, what street did you live on? She said, New Park Street in Lynn. I said, you were in the triple decker, it was yellow, you were on the second floor. Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Well, she was a good tipper. That's
Oh, well, that's one way to remember
I was
somebody.
11 years old.
You were?
I was
Wow.
11 years old, and I had a big paper with my brother Dennis.
I love the ones that go, I used to go to church with your father.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's fantastic. Some great stories.
Oh,
Boy.
But anyway, I mean, and it's great. So, I mean, between keeping really busy with the facilities, once in a while, Benny do some club gigs. We always, at least on the St. Patrick's Day, we're together, and we do, I don't know, several a year of private jobs. But the St. Patrick's Day, we were chatting about it before.
Yeah.
We're going back to the building, even though it's a different name. It was the building where it kind of all began. It was the Harp and Bard up in Damas. It's now called Supino's.
Sapinos, yeah.
And we've been there now for several years. We go on St. Patrick's Day, and we go on halfway to St. Patrick's Day, which I think about 30 years ago, people decided the Irish need one more day to
Right,
celebrate.
yeah.
So we'll do halfway to St. Patrick's Day. No, Ron Supino's a great guy up there, and he's the funny thing is, I had to just say this, Supino's used to be across the street from the Harp and Bard.
Right.
Ron Supino's mother
right.
and father
I heard that,
were
yeah.
wonderful people. And Ron said he remembers when he was like 11 or 12 years old, he said he would say to his mother on St. Patrick's Day, Mom, they're parking on Route 1 again. That's how many
Yeah.
people show
Oh,
up.
yeah.
And there would be parked. Well, I'll tell you what, when Benny and I go back to Supino's on St. Patrick's Day, same thing.
Yeah,
It's-
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the
A
hours
lot
are-
of the same people,
the,
too.
the hours are a little bit different.
Right.
We go on at 4:30 in the afternoon. That's because we're in our 60s.
Right.
And but it's just as busy. It's just
Yeah.
really funny that people
Yeah.
come out our time of the day as we
Oh,
call
yeah.
it.
Well, I don't know if I told you this, but years ago, when after the Hop and Body closed in Danvers,
Yeah.
this guy opened it up. I think his name was Henry Wong, and it was called the Golden Island. And we were the
Absolutely.
first band to play there.
We were maybe
He
the second
hired
or
us.
third.
He hired us for a whole month, and then he died.
We were there maybe even after you. We played there.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
very weird singing Danny Boy with a poo-poo platter.
I saw. Yeah, I know.
But when we played
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day and they had corned beef and cabbage,
Yeah.
Brian told them, you're going to need about 2 tons of corned beef.
Right.
And then there was specials, corned beef lo mein, there was corned beef chop suey,
Yeah, yeah.
for the next 3 days.
I
That's
didn't know
fantastic.
you worked up there.
Yeah, we did for a month.
yeah.
Yeah, that was.
It was
cool.
strange. No, it just was, I can handle meeting the building, and again, Ron Supino's a great guy, and they've done a wonderful, just moved across the street, but I think, it was the Harp and Bard, it was the jaunting car,
Right.
and, but the Golden Island just was a little bit different, even though, we've worked in a few, it's one thing singing Irish music in an Italian restaurant,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
Which we do with Supino's, and as my
Yeah.
brother John did down at the Prince of Pizza and stuff. but it's a little different singing Irish music in Chinese restaurants. It's
Right.
just the feel, the ambiance is not the same with the blazing volcanoes coming out.
But they treated us like gold.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
would feed us on Friday and Saturday night.
Do you guys remember Pat McDonough? Used to own Islands 32 in
I
Roslindale.
sang there. with
You
John.
did. He also
Yes.
owned a place out in Milford for years called the Alana Inn.
No, never.
And we were the house band there in 1979. And his last month, he closed the place. He was selling the place, and he was selling it to a Chinese restaurant. They wanted to come in and put a Chinese restaurant there. And,
Yeah.
so we went from doing the last shows at this Irish joint for a Chinese place, and we went to the Golden Island. So it's kind of funny.
That is.
Anyway, we're talking to John Corcoran and Ben Parisi and
Say it again. Talking to.
Brian Corcoran.
There
I
you go.
did that the last time you were on.
That's funny.
I did that the
You
last
did.
time
That's
you were
okay.
on.
It's our age.
And I've never had your brother on the show.
I know. I said, Rick, you should have my brother on the show.
Okay. Anyway, don't forget, when you're looking for goods and services, please remember Beam Structural Repair in Whitman, D'Agostino Insurance in Brockton, St. Joseph's Manor in Brockton, and Frida's Fine Food and Spirits in West Bridgewater, which is my favorite restaurant. Yesterday we lost a great talent. His name was Richie O'Shea. Was with Patty Noonan's band for several years, and I'm going to play a song right now by Richie O'Shea. This one is called The Streets of New York on Sounds of the Emerald Isle on WVBF. That is the late, great Richie O'Shea here on Sounds of the Emerald Isle on WVBF. Richie passed away yesterday. I don't know how old he was, but he was very young, too soon to pass, that's for sure. And he was a huge talent. My name's Jim Larkin. Ben Parisi and Brian Corcoran are here today, singing live. We're going to chat with them again in just a few minutes on WVBF.
Unlike the New England weather, Frida's commitment to quality ingredients, innovative dishes, and great service never changes. Come on over to Frida's at 105 Copeland Street in West Bridgewater and enjoy a local tradition by having lunch or dinner there. Frida's has been family-owned and operated for over 25 years thanks to loyal diners like you. Everything at Frida's is fresh and prepared there. Plan to join them for lunch or dinner Tuesday through Saturday. They open at 11:30 a.m. or for Sunday dinner when they open at 4 p.m. Have a party or special event coming up? Let Frida's Fine Food and Spirits cater your next event. It's all at Frida's Fine Food and Spirits, where the tradition continues. Check them out on the web at fridasrestaurant.com. Stop by and say hello to Steve and the fine staff at Frida's at 105 Copeland Street in West Bridgewater. That's Frida's Fine Food and Spirits. St. Joseph Manor. Did you know in addition to long-term care, St. Joseph Manor offers rehabilitation, post-hospital care, short-term, and respite care? St. Joseph Manor is a community of care and a place that works toward making their residents feel welcome, well-known, and where life is worth living. St. Joseph Manor provides short-term rehabilitation, skilled care, including physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, pain management, wound care, intravenous therapy, hospice care, and individual care planning. When caretakers need to rejuvenate or travel, St. Joseph Manor can care for your loved one overnight or for an extended stay. That's St. Joseph Manor at 215 Thatcher Street in Brockton. Call 508-583-5834 or online at sjmbrockton.org. Quality and excellence, respect and integrity for the needs of the whole person, body, mind, and spirit are the commitments of St. Joseph Manor. Call them at 508-583-5834 today. St. Joseph Manor, where hearts are full and love is overflowing.
Jim Larkin with a touch of Ireland.
Last night as I lay dreaming of pleasant days gone by, my mind was bent on rambling to Ireland I did fly. I stepped on board a vision and I followed with a will. When next I came to anchor, a crosses span so new. Then on the 23rd of June, the day before the fair, when island sons and daughters and friends assemble there, the young, the old, the brave and the bold came their duty to fulfill at the parish church near Clue, a mile from Spansel Hill. I went to see my neighbors to hear what they might say. The old ones were all dead and gone, the young ones turning grey. I met the tailor Quigley, he's as bold as ever still. Sure, he used to mend my bridges when I lived in the Spansel Hill. And I paid a flying visit to my first and only love. She's as white as any lily, gentle as a dove. She threw her arms around me saying, Johnny, I love you still. Oh, she's an old farmer's daughter, she's the bride of Spansel Hill. Well, I dreamt I held and kissed her as in the days of yore. Ah, Johnny, you're only joking, as many the time before. And the cock, he crew in the morning, he crew both loud and shrill. When I woke in California, many miles from the Spansel Hill. Spansel Hill.
Great song, Spansel Hill.
Great song.
Great song. That's Brian Corcoran along with Ben Parisi. And I mentioned this is the second time I've had you on the show, and I called you John.
But you know, we're such a big family with me. I mean, I have 9 brothers.
Yeah,
5
absolutely.
sisters. You can pretty call me any name and I'll turn around. But no, I don't mind when people call me John. I shouldn't.
Well,
I really
remember-
don't. I always tell people that very honestly, as a young kid, and he was my very first teacher
Yeah.
in music, and will always be grateful to him for that.
Well, as I
And
mentioned to
it's
you
$20.
as I mentioned off the air, I had the Celtic Rebels come all the way from Pennsylvania last year or the year before. They sang live, and I called them the Celtic Tenors. So Celtic Tenors.
Oh, tenors.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, but anyway, Celtic Rebels, they're going to be at the Cape Cod Irish Village on Friday. They're coming up from Pennsylvania. They'll be at the Cape Cod Irish Village, so that should be a lot of fun. So plan on going down to the Cape Cod Irish Village on Friday night to see the Celtic Rebels, and hopefully we'll get them on the station here again sometime.
Sure.
And Ben, tell me about yourself.
Well,
How'd you get started in the music business and everything?
Well, I started, in fact, I just had my anniversary of playing professionally on New Year's Eve. That's when I started. I was 14 years old,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you a quick story. I played with a very delightful piano player, Maxine Alter, and her family belonged to Temple Bethel in Wakefield.
Oh,
And they said, we need a band.
Yeah.
And they said, will you play bass? And I said, of course. And they treated us great. And they gave me $100. And in 1968, that was a lot of money.
absolutely it was.
And I walked upstairs and I heard my father say, hey. He said, how'd it go? I said, Dad, it was great. And they gave me $100. He goes, that's great. And I figured I'd press my luck. I said, Dad, maybe I should quit school and just start playing. And my dad goes, that's great. And I'm on top of the world. And he goes, okay. He says, I'll see you in the morning. I said, good night, Dad. He goes, oh, by the way,
when's your next gig? So we went to school on Monday, obviously. But then I was playing, of all places, at an Italian place on Route 1 in Saugus. And this guy came in with his brother. They were on break at the Hop and Bod. And that was in 1973.
Wow.
And we've been playing together since.
Yeah.
So you said I'll try it for a couple of weeks.
I tried for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
43 years later.
A couple of weeks,
40, whatever it is. But that's it. And now Brian still performs every day. I'm semi-retired out of that.
Yeah.
But I'm a music teacher.
Oh, you are?
I teach in Lowell, public school in Lowell. And I teach little kids.
Yeah.
And I teach stringed instruments.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I do.
You do, okay. And you teach them to read music, do you?
Teach them everything.
Wow.
Teach them everything. And I'm a very strange music teacher. We don't do the wheels on the bus,
Yeah.
We'll do some opera.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We'll do some Irish music.
Oh, yeah, you gotta do that.
Brian is known in kindergarten as Cool Mickey.
Cool Mickey.
He even has a dance move named after him,
A dance move, really?
Yeah. And
That's what I was
Cool
told.
Mickey.
When I came into his class one day, he said, "Oh, by the way, your name is Cool Mickey." I said, "Okay."
Yeah,
Oh.
Mickey Corcoran. Famous name.
Cool Mickey, okay. I'm afraid to walk into your class. I don't know what kind of a name you'd give me.
Uncle Jim.
Uncle Jim,
Uncle
okay, I
Jim.
can deal with that.
That's
if I
right.
can remember it. So, Brian, let me ask you, do you read music, by the way?
Just, it's funny that you ask. Yeah, I just started taking lessons.
You did?
First time in my life.
Oh, okay.
He knows every chord. He knows how to play. He can
I've
sing.
made my living singing and
That's
playing.
right.
But
And it's always bugged him.
I can always hear the chords and hear the changes. I know if they're minor chords. Just by
Right,
listening.
yeah, absolutely.
And I used to take records and I would listen to the record. I could figure out the chords very quickly. That's how I learned.
That's how I taught
Yeah,
myself,
sure,
too.
yeah. But I just started taking lessons just about a month ago. Guitar lessons.
Guitar lessons,
And
really?
as well, and learn how to read. To read,
To read music, yeah.
And I went back to the teacher one day because I was at church with my wife a few weeks ago, and I'm singing the song that I've sung for years as a kid in church. But I noticed there were 3 sharps.
3
I
sharps.
said to my wife, "This is an A." She looked at me like, "I had 3." Yeah, so I said, "No, it's an A." I'd never known that before. But anyway, yeah. No,
He's very proud of that.
I'm
He
just
should
starting.
be.
It's kind of funny. At my age, it's kind of exciting. It's learning stuff that I should have learned a long time ago. But I have no kick. I learned, we still talk about the Hop and Bard.
Yeah.
I saw more musicians. Because I was 16 years old when I
Right.
auditioned there with my brother. When I was 17, I was singing there. But I saw the best of the best. Okay, we had mentioned Martin Flynn.
Oh, yeah.
I saw you had a note on Facebook from Jesse.
Oh, Jesse, yeah, he was great.
And these are the guys that were in their probably mid to late 20s. Don't be offended, guys. I was the baby there. I was like
Right,
16 years old. These guys
absolutely.
were about between 5 and 7 years older than me.
Yeah.
And they've been playing in Carnegie Hall and all over the world. And
Right.
And but I would sit and I would watch. I would see what chord they were making and
Oh, yeah.
how they were playing. And then
Yeah.
also the other spectrum was we talked about the comedy and stuff.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, the comedy.
I
It's,
tend to say, but that may come from maybe from a big family when you're the 5th and trying to get a few words in.
yeah. That's,
But we grew up listening to the Smothers Brothers and stuff like that. But it was very natural for John and I to do that type of shtick because
Right.
he was a little bit more serious than I was.
yeah.
Let's put it this way: I got in a lot more trouble than he did. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? So, but anyway,
Yeah.
that was my education from watching musicians. That
Yeah.
were trained like Ben.
Right.
And watching them play and stuff like that. So that's how I learned.
Yeah.
And just being in front of a live audience, you learn really quick.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, the good side is I remember meeting a couple of guys that Ben knows from Berkeley, and then we met them at a gig. We're up at the beach we still sing up at McGurk's once in a while up in Hampton Beach, and these guys had come up, they're friends of Ben, and they were playing before we started, and I said, well, the guy was a monster guitar player, but Ben said, don't ask him up on the stage. It was just a different thing for him. He was used to playing
Right.
and doing studio work, but live audience thing for him wasn't.
He couldn't even look at the audience. He'd have to face the back wall.
And that's how you meet people like that. But anyway, it's great education. Great education.
Absolutely.
You know?
So you got another live tune for us,
Sure.
maybe?
Anything.
You know what we should do? This is the, I mentioned, I'll get my little plug in here for the tour. Benny and I doing a tour and drive. By the way, we do have seats available. If you want to come with Ben and I, and Brack Tours, Peter Clark. We're going over to Ireland, and this is always, we always teach the people on the bus, even though most of them know it. We always instruct them on the very first day. I tell the people on tours, you will know so many Irish drinking songs that you're going to be guaranteed a free pint of Guinness on St. Patrick's Day. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, and if moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I
die.
See, he knows it.
That's it.
I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home. And if you don't like me, will you leave me alone? I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, and if moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die. I've been a moonshiner for many's a year. I spent all my money on whiskey and beer. I'll go to some hollow house, set up my still, and I'll make you a gallon for a 10-shilling bill. I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home, and if you don't like me, well, leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, and if moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die. I'll go to some hollow in this country, 10 gallons of wash, I can go on a spree. No women to follow when the world is all mine, and I love them as dear as I love the moonshine. I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home, and if you don't like me, will you leave me alone? I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, and the moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die. Oh moonshine, oh how I love thee. You killed my old father, but you dare not kill me. I love all the moonshiners and all the moonshine. Its breath smells so sweet as it did on the vine. I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home, and if you don't like me, well, you leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, and the moonshine don't kill me. Come on, sing it with us at home, ready? I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home, and if you don't like me, well, you leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry, and the moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die.
Oh, that was a good one.
Great song, The Moonshiner. Brian Corcoran and Ben Parisi here at Sounds of the Emerald Isle. Thank you, guys. That was just absolutely awesome. And we'll chat with you guys again in just a few more minutes. 2 weeks ago, we lost another great entertainer. He was with a group called Silly Wizard for many years and did quite a bit of solo work, wrote some great tunes. His name was Andy M. Stewart, and he passed away 2 weeks ago today as we were on the air. And here's a song that Silly Wizard came out with, recorded here in the United States in 1985.
Oh, what a parish, a terrible parish.
Are you familiar with Andy's music? Who? Andy Stewart?
The minister.
Heard the name.
He wrote some great...
Give him some history of that, too. It's so interesting to hear that.
Jim Larkin with a touch of Ireland.
As a business in the Metro South region, have you wondered whether you have the right insurance in this dynamic business environment? Confused? You should be. How much? What kind? How big a deductible? RFD Agostino Insurance helps business cut the fat and waste in their insurance bill. RFD Agostino Insurance Agency, simple, straight talk about your needs, no matter how large or small your business is. As an agent for carriers, Mark and his staff at RFD Agostino shop around for the best plan and rates for your business. For 2 generations, RFD Agostino Insurance has been servicing the southern New England region. If you can't get to RFD Agostino Insurance, call 800-698-0414 and Mark DiAgostino will come to you. You need to visit RFD Agostino at their new location at 7 Christie Drive off Pleasant Street with easy access to Route 24 in Brockton. Plenty of parking and ready to serve all of your business, residential, and personal insurance needs. Call 800-698-0414 today. You and your pocketbook will be glad you did. Beam and Structural Repair is a Massachusetts and Rhode Island company with over 50 years of experience. They can save you thousands and even tens of thousands of your hard-earned dollars, whether it be repairing your home, garage, or barn. Beam and Structural Repair's team of specialized craftsmen bring workmanship and attention to detail to a new level. They do post and carrying beam repair, sill replacement, barn restorations, buildings jacked, foundations repaired, termite and carpenter ant damage remediated, remodeling, porches, new home, and office construction. Beam and Structural Repair specializes in residential and industrial structural repairs. For an estimate, call them at 800-732-8330, and you'll be amazed at how much you'll save. They're located in Whitman, Massachusetts. Beam and Structural Repair is licensed, insured, and has an extensive list of references. Walt Murphy and his associates are very proud to announce Beam and Structural Repair's connection with Angie's List, and over 20 years of not one complaint with the Better Business Bureau. This just shows you can be confident in calling Walt Murphy at Beam and Structural Repair at 800-732-8330 for your next project.
I close my eyes and picture the emerald of the sea, from the fishing boats at Dingle to the shores of Donaghy. I miss the river Shannon and the folks at Skibbereen, the moorlands and the meadow and the 40 shades of green. Most of all, I miss a girl from Tipperary town. Most of all, I miss her lips as soft as eider down. I long again to see and do the things we've done and seen, where the breeze is sweet as Shalimar and the 40 shades of green. I wish that I could spend an hour at Dublin's churning surf. I love to watch the farmers drain the bog and spade the turf, to see again the thatching of the straw the woman clean. I'd walk from Cork till Ireland to see the 40 shades of green. Most of all, I miss a girl from Tipperary town. Most of all, I miss her lips as soft as eider down. I long again to see and do the things we've done and seen, where the breeze is sweet as Shalimar and the 40 shades of green. The breeze is sweet as Shalimar and the 40 shades of green. 40 Shades of Green. By, you want to shoot?
Great song.
Mr. Johnny Cash.
Johnny
Cash.
Great song that he wrote, though, huh?
Oh,
It is a great song.
Yeah.
I always use that for like a little surprise when we're on the tours. Like I tell them if they can guess what it is, we'll give them a free CD.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't given out too many CDs. People are really shocked when they find out Johnny Cash wrote that.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
So speaking of tours, I mentioned earlier that Ben and I are going together this tour, which is great.
Yep.
You know, I've been doing these tours for 5 or 6 years now, and Ben's coming with me with Brack Tours, and we're going to be at the Giant's Causeway. We're going to be going to Belfast, the Titanic Museum. We're going to the Aran Islands, by the way. We're going to take a ferry over the Aran Islands.
Oh, the Aran Islands too?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
This is a great tour. So the whole itinerary is on my website, tourirelandwithbrian.com. Very simple, tourirelandwithbrian.com, one long word. And all the pricing information is there, or you can go to bracktours.com. They have my tour as well as other tours on their website.
Now hold on.
Yeah.
There's a very important part of this tour that we haven't talked about.
Which is?
Food. Now, Brian told me. Now, hold on.
We
hold
remember
on.
ones years ago.
Oh, this is my favorite, but
the
no.
food
See,
in Ireland is just incredible.
And for years and years, you heard British food, Irish food, Scottish food.
Scottish,
my
yeah.
ancestry is half Scottish, and when you go there,
Rubber boots. You need rubber boots.
as one of the comedians says, you know, over here the flavor. He says you chew gum, and then when the flavor's gone, you spit it out. He says in Ireland, in Scotland, when the flavor's gone, it's done. You know? So anyways, and everybody used to say, oh, you know, the food. And I said to Brian, how bad was the food really?
No.
He goes, no.
We have,
things
the
have
food,
changed.
the accommodations we do, the food, the coach, that we're on that with our friend Peter Clark. It's top notch, and people are just they're really amazed at where we stay and the food and the accommodations.
Is it true that there's a lot of repeat people going
on
on
these
the
tours? Oh yeah, I've had people with me on 3 tours.
Oh, yeah?
4 years.
They
come
keep
back.
going back.
Oh,
They keep
that's
coming
great,
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to
and
do
the
it.
funny is, what we're doing here,
Yeah.
on the tour bus, we have the driver and our guide, it's
Yeah.
usually Peter Clark, and I have my own microphone. So I'm at the front of the bus, and we're telling, I would do a joke a day. Every day I'd say it's a joke a day. And it got to a point where if I didn't tell the joke first thing in the morning, we teach them
Yeah.
the Wild Rover. And then
Oh,
every
yeah.
night, Benny and I will be performing either at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
We also go to different pubs along the way. We go to Murphy's Pub. We go to Nancy Hand's when we're in Dublin. There's a lot of places we go to with the tour group, and we entertain every night.
Right.
We sing, we tell stories.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We joke.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Are we going
And
go?
we have a pint of Guinness every now and then.
Imagine they have it there.
You can't have a tour without that.
And maybe some Jamesons.
Just a little.
Just a wee bit.
Just a little
wee
taste.
They don't have a lot. They export everything. Are we going anywhere where they filmed The Quiet Man?
I have to look at the itinerary.
Because I told my wife we're going to
did.
recreate
Well,
some scenes from The Quiet
I
Man.
think we're passing through that area. Yeah.
Of course,
Village-
she says she wants to be John Wayne, and she's going to pull my hair on the.
Kong Village. That's where it is.
Okay.
That's where it was filmed. And let's put that place on the map. Let me
Yeah,
see.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We always go down there.
Maureen was, she was, when I was growing up, Maureen O'Hara was, somebody you'd
That
say,
was the
oh my
it girl."
God, would you ever love to meet somebody like
Oh my
her?
God.
And I couldn't believe it. In 1988, not only did I get to meet her, she came to the radio station.
Get
and
out!
Yeah. Yes, I got pictures of that.
should've
And
called
stuff.
me.
So
I know.
that was great. The
Would've been
radio
here in a
station
heartbeat.
sent a limousine
Oh,
into
one of the prettiest
Boston.
women ever, I tell
And
ya.
you have to picture this. The limousine pulls up in front of the newspaper building in downtown Brockton, and people are wondering, what's a limousine doing here? 'Cause
Sure.
this
Who is it? Yeah.
wasn't the greatest area. And we were waiting because we wanted the police to be there when
Of
she
course.
get out, just to make sure that, So we're waiting for the police to come, and people were wondering, who's in this limo? And then a couple of the police show up to stand on the sidewalk when she came in. And as soon as she got out of the limo, everybody knew who she was.
of
I mean,
course.
there
No
was no
mistaking it.
question.
No one bigger.
And even all the people in the newspaper, when she came upstairs to the radio station, they were all out in the hallway with cameras and notebooks for autographs, and everybody's there waiting to, get a chance to say hi to this legend.
And she just died last
Yeah, I know she did. That's what
Just
made me
died.
think of it. It's
Great
Unbelievable.
actress.
what a shame.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the tour is very exciting.
Tours all set, but we do
Yeah.
have seats available, and I always tell people, and this is the big thing, someone called me last week, emailed me, and they can email me, and I'm even going to give you a phone number. It's 508-451-6973. That's 508-451-6973. That's my personal cell number. Call me.
And
And,
Tour Island with Brian.
That's it, and Brian and Ben this trip, and like I
Yeah.
said, if you make a deposit, and the payments are spread out, all the pricing is on my website. But if you just make a deposit, you're guaranteed a seat. That's the thing.
That's great.
So
That's great.
Anyway. So that's
All right, so we get another song we're going to do?
Should we do that?
Yeah,
song
do
we're
that
talking
nice
about?
one.
We'll do a pretty song. This was my dad's favorite song, and one of my most humbling experiences on my trips to Ireland, and I have an open invitation, believe it or not, is that we've been to the shrine at Knock.
Oh, yeah.
And I've sung the song on the altar at the shrine at Knock.
Isn't that cool?
Oh.
At least a half a dozen times, and each time, I remember the first time I did it, when I got to the chorus, there were several hundred people singing with me.
yeah.
Below me, though. It was like the hair in my arms stood up. Anyway, it was my dad's favorite song. He always loved this song. I've sung this for many dear friends, including my father when he passed, including Eugene Byrne. But today we wanted to make a dedication to two people who have been ill, and one of them is our partner in crime for many years, Dean Ellis. And he's hanging in there, but he worked on the stage with us for many years, traveled all over the country with us. And also a woman who's been ill, Mary Mansfield.
Way up in Vermont.
Up in Vermont. And we sing this song for them. There were people of all ages gathered round the gable wall, poor and humble men and women, little children that you call. We are gathered here before you, and our hearts are just the same, filled with joy at such a vision as we praise your name. Golden Rose, Queen of Ireland, all my cares and troubles cease as we kneel with love before you, Lady of Knock, my Queen of Peace. Though your message was unspoken, still the truth in silence lies, as we gaze upon your vision, and the truth to you I find. Here I stand with John the teacher, and with Joseph at your side, and I see the Lamb of God on the altar glorified. Golden Rose, Queen of Ireland, all my cares and troubles cease as we kneel with love before you, Lady of Knock, my Queen of Peace. And the Lamb will conquer, and the woman clothed in the sun will shine her light on everyone. And the Lamb will conquer, and the woman clothed in the sun will shine her light on everyone. Golden Rose, Queen of Ireland, all my cares and troubles cease as we kneel with love before you, Lady of Knock, my Queen of Peace. Lady of Knock, my Queen of Peace. Great song.
Fantastic. I love that song.
Great
Lady of Knock, Brian Corcoran and Ben Parisi here on Sounds of the Emerald Isle. And check out YouTube. And Brian Corcoran was on here 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in March. And that video is on YouTube. As hopefully this one will be within a week or so.
Ooh, there you go.
And I mentioned the Celtic Rebels are going to be at the Cape Cod Irish Village on Friday night. So make plans on going down to the Cape Cod Irish Village and seeing the Celtic Rebels. They don't get to Massachusetts too often. And here they are to sing a great song made famous by the Clancy brothers called Brennan on the Moor.
We're short here? Yeah. I'll wait.
The Celtic Rebels here on Sounds of the Emerald Isle on WVBF. My name's Jim Larkin. And let your friends know they can get this show anywhere in the world by going to www.hometowntalkradio.com. And we're going to take a short pause for the news. We'll be right back with one more hour of Irish music and some Irish comedy. More live music with Ben Parisi and Brian Corcoran.
You are listening to the voice of Southeastern Massachusetts for local news, sports, and weather. AM 1530, WVBF, Middleborough, Taunton.
I close my... No, I'm not doing that.
No, let's do the old talk instead.
I met my love by the Gassion. Dreamed a dream by the old canal. I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town. Dirty old town. The clouds were rolling across the lawn. Gnats were crowding on their beat. Springs a girl on the streets at night. Dirty old town. Dirty old town. I'm gonna get me a big shot axe, shining steel, trembling in the fire. I will cut you down like an old dead tree. Dirty old town. Dirty old town. I'm in my love by the gassy outlaw. Dreamed a dream by the old canal. I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town. Dirty old town. Dirty old town. Dirty old town. I used to know how that song started years ago.
Dirty Old Town. Great song written by Ewan McCall, sung here by Ben Parisi and Brian Corcoran on Sounds of the Emerald Isle. Welcome back. Second and final hour. We have more live music. Maybe we'll squeeze a little Irish comedy in. And we'll be chatting with Ben Parisi and Brian Corcoran. And Brian, I know you used to play the bass years ago. Do you still play it?
No, a little bit. I was only out of necessity. That's why we went to the pizza place and found Ben.
That's right.
Oh.
You know?
Brian's bass playing is what brought me into the fold.
Ah!
I didn't want to, the bass gave John a little bit more punch.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then, but I wanted to get back on playing guitar. And
Right.
So when I heard someone told me about Benny being down the street, so that's how that's
Now, didn't you just record something and you play bass?
My last CD, the one that Danny Boy and other favorite request, yes.
Yeah.
Which you can email me and call me. We can get those CDs right to you. I'll even mail them to you. Anyway, it's called. I played the guitar. I played the bass. I laid down a couple of tracks on guitar. Laid down the bass, and I laid a couple of some harmony work. It was
made
one of those.
coffee. Did everything.
Yeah. You've got 2 CDs out, right?
I do. Excuse me.
Yeah.
One's called Safe in the Harbor.
Yeah.
I like that one.
The picture of my dad in the front and his 2 brothers, and the one I did lately was called Danny Boy, another favorite request, which also has my favorite song, When You Were Sweet 16, on there.
Oh, yeah.
As well as Danny Boy. the Wild Rover, the Black Velvet Band.
Every Irish song ever recorded is on that CD.
And if you don't like Irish music, it makes a great scraper for the windshield.
That's right. We needed that.
Yeah.
You know.
So obviously this time of year is coming.
Okay. Now I know you did some albums with your brother years ago, the Corcoran brothers.
Did, yeah.
Those are none of those are available anymore, are they?
No, I mean every once in a while I get I get requests. I tell you the funniest thing that happened.
Go ahead.
Is when Benny and I were up at Hampton Beach at McGuirk's. Great place, great Irish pub up there, great family. And this kid came in and he held up the first record I did with John, with the blue cover.
Mm-hmm.
Eugene Byrne produced it for us when he was at the Harper Bar.
That was the live one?
That was that was the
No,
second
it
one.
was
The first one was all the original songs that John did for a few
with
11
the-
minutes.
Oh yeah, okay,
It
yeah.
had a picture of the Harpenbard on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this kid came into the club and held it up and said, $5 at a yard sale. I said, you're kidding. He said, no, he wanted 10, but I only would pay him 5. So he got me really good. But no, they really aren't available anymore. But, who knows? I mean, we've kind of transferred them, but not for sale onto a CD.
Right.
I was playing the Christmas 45 of you guys.
The hippo
Yeah, the
song.
hippopotamus on one side and the other one was...
And you know who we had singing? That choir was my old
St.
high school,
Mary's,
St. Mary's
that's
High
right.
School.
Really?
And those kids who were singing,
Yeah.
I'll tell you how old they are now. They're in their 40s and 50s.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
even older.
Older.
That was
But they were-
1973.
But they were underclassmen to me, so...
Right,
Yeah.
but still.
Did somebody say time flies? Did I hear that word somewhere?
It's
But it's great. We
light
went
speed.
back and we got... Because years ago, one of our nicest gigs, and I'll have to put the picture on Facebook next Thursday for Throwback Thursday,
Oh, yeah.
is we got to be on the same bill with Arthur Fiedler
Oh, yeah?
at Lynn City Hall. And I remember he came in, he was the guest conductor for the Lynn High School, all the bands.
Really?
From the high schools. And I remember when he kind of stopped and pointed out a single trumpet player
Mm-hmm.
and said, "You're flat." This is while the whole orchestra was playing, by the way.
Oh, my
During the
God.
rehearsal. You're flat. I mean, this is the year this man had was.
Oh.
So, but anyway, that was the St. Mary's connection. And, still very, very
What was the
close
name of
to
that
this.
song? The other flip side. Now, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Scenes of Christmas?
John wrote it.
That's right.
John wrote it. Yeah. That's right. Painting scenes of Christmas.
Painting Scenes of Christmas,
A
yeah.
lot I don't think I remember it, but
And what about you?
I
Do you
remember.
dabble in other instruments too? Ben?
I actually teach stringed instruments, so anything with a string I can teach. I don't play it very well,
Mandolin,
so it's
violin,
it's one of
cello.
those
Banjo?
those who can do, those
Yeah.
who can't teach. But I do teach a lot of things like that. So anything with a string, and I've been doing it for a long time. This
Yeah.
is my favorite instrument, though.
I love the sound of an
is.
acoustic
Oh,
bass. I
string
tell
bass
you,
is
it's
beautiful, isn't it?
nothing like that bass sound is
Could
nothing
you
like
give me
it. I
just a
think.
little taste from my favorite movie? Don't be scared now.
So my son, who is 15, I'm old, but I have a young son. His name is MacLean. There's the Scottish connection again.
Okay.
He just thrilled me because he started playing jazz. He's a violist and
all right.
really, really fine. But he started playing bass and then just recently started playing string bass.
Oh, excellent.
And he's playing jazz. And it really makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Because, bass players,
They're a certain breed unto themselves.
yeah, we should be chained up somewhere, but so this is Brian. The string bass is so interesting. There's only 2 or 3 songs written for the string bass in pop music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all
And-
about that bass. About that bass.
And Ben played this song because he had the bass on the airplane. We'd come back from Chicago.
That's right.
During the winter storm, and Ben started playing because people were a little bit nervous on the flight. It was kind of a rough flight.
Right.
And this is what he played in the middle of the aisle on the airplane.
And people didn't see me; they could hear this.
Swim! Hurry up, swim!
So people just turn around wondering. But string bass. There are several legends about sound effects in string bass.
Yeah.
If you take a bass and put the bow on the strings and rock the bass.
Yeah.
It sounds, they use it for, a Foley artist will use it for like sailing ships. Mm-hmm. And so listen to this, tell me, picture yourself moonlit on the deck of a sailing ship. Isn't that funny?
I never knew what an amazing instrument that really was. That's fantastic.
Well, enough frivolity.
I thought you were going to play Psycho when you were leading
Well,
up
how
to
did
that.
you know that? Because that's another legend, is that Alfred Hitchcock played bass. In fact,
He did. Wow.
And you can actually see him carrying on a bass. And what was the one, the train one with? Is that North by Northwest?
No.
When they're on the train.
Vertigo? No.
Vertigo. One of them. Anyways, he's carrying a bass onto the train. But someone said that he held the bow like a knife, and up at the scroll, the little bits of string that are available, he went. And that's where he came up with that.
That's unbelievable.
A great urban movie
What was the
legend.
one question people would ask you when you were walking through the bass, walking through airports with your bass? What did they always ask you?
Do you play that?
No, I just carry through
Yeah,
airports.
that's it.
The best
That's
bass
what's
story.
funny, yeah.
It was a day like today, but snow on the ground, and it was in mid-February, and I was in 6th grade, and I was carrying it in the rain, and this beautiful car pulled up next to me by the passenger door, and the window went down. That's how impressed I was. I remembered power windows, and there was this very well-to-do big guy behind the wheel. And he looked at me, and he took out a cigar, and he says, "I don't know where you're going, pal, but I sure hope they let you play once you get there." Isn't that funny?
That is hysterical. Let me ask you,
And I thought he was going to give me a ride. Drove away.
No,
The window went back up.
do you by any chance sing the song Carrickfergus?
You know what? I don't. Only I'm saying I don't because I haven't sung it in so long that I would kind of go in and out on it with you.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
Do we have to leave?
No, you don't have
Okay.
to leave. I got a request from Jimmy of the Celtic Rebels asking if you'd sing Carrickfergus for him. So maybe you can do another tune, and we'll dedicate it to Jimmy
All right.
Farrell of the Celtic Rebels.
Who's playing this Friday?
This Friday, absolutely.
Village.
Cape Cod Irish Village.
We'll give something in the same vein, though. Eh? For my. Raised on songs and stories, heroes of renown, the passing tales and glory that once was Dublin town. Hallowed halls and houses, haunting children cry, that once was part of Dublin in the railroad time. Ring a rosy as the light declined, I remember Dublin city in the railroad time. My name it is Sean Dempsey, as Dublin as can be, on hard and late in Pimlico, in a house that ceased to be. By trade I was a cooper, lost out to redundancy, like my house that fell to progress, my trade's a memory. Ring away a rosy as the light declined, I remember Dublin city in the railroad time. I courted Peggy Tynan, as pretty as you please, a rogue, a child of Mary, for the rebel liberty. I lost her to a student chap with skin as black as coal. When he took her off to Birmingham, he took away my soul. Ring a rosy as the light declined, I remember Dublin city in the railroad time. The years have made me
bitter. The goggles dim to my brain, 'cause Dublin keeps on changing and nothing stays the same. The pillar and the Met have gone, the Royal long since pulled down, as the great unyielding concrete makes the city of my town. Ring a rosy, as the light declined, I remember Dublin City in the railroad time. Very well, sweet Anna Livy, I can no longer stay and watch the new glass cages rise up along the quay. My mind's too full of memories, too old to learn new chimes. I'm a part of what was Dublin in the railroad time. Ring a rosy, as the light declined, I remember Dublin City in the railroad time. Railroad times. You're right.
Railroad Times, Brian Corcoran and Ben Parisi on Sounds of the Emerald Isle.
Unlike the New England weather, Frida's commitment to quality ingredients, innovative dishes, and great service never changes. Come on over to Frida's at 105 Copeland Street in West Bridgewater and enjoy a local tradition by having lunch or dinner there. Frida's has been family-owned and operated for over 25 years thanks to loyal diners like you. Everything at Frida's is fresh and prepared there. Plan to join them for lunch or dinner Tuesday through Saturday. They open at 11:30 a.m. or for Sunday dinner when they open at 4 p.m. Have a party or special event coming up? Let Frida's Fine Food and Spirits cater your next event. It's all at Frida's Fine Food and Spirits, where the tradition continues. Check them out on the web at fridasrestaurant.com. Stop by and say hello to Steve and the fine staff at Frida's at 105 Copeland Street in West Bridgewater. That's Frida's Fine Food and Spirits. St. Joseph Manor. Did you know in addition to long-term care, St. Joseph Manor offers rehabilitation post-hospital care, short-term, and respite care? St. Joseph Manor is a community of care and a place that works toward making their residents feel welcome, well-known, and where life is worth living. St. Joseph Manor provides short-term rehabilitation, skilled care, including physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, pain management, wound care, intravenous therapy, hospice care, and individual care planning. When caretakers need to rejuvenate or travel, St. Joseph Manor can care for your loved one overnight or for an extended stay. That's St. Joseph Manor at 215 Thatcher Street in Brockton. Call 508-583-5834 or online at sjmbrockton.org. Quality and excellence, respect and integrity for the needs of the whole person, body, mind, and spirit are the commitments of St. Joseph Manor. Call them at 508-583-5834 today. St. Joseph Manor, where hearts are full and love is overflowing.
Jim Larkin with a touch of Ireland.
No, buys beer, it buys me beer. Ray, the guy who sells me beer. Me, the one who drinks my beer.
Seamus used to be in this area. Seamus, when he was with the Beggar Band, he was all over here, and then he moved to Maryland.
Yeah, this is very well. Great guy.
Yeah,
Last time I
absolutely.
saw him face to face with Tommy Baker's Wake.
Oh, yeah.
Because we met at the Harper Bar.
And that is Seamus Kennedy here on Sounds of the Emerald Isle on WVBF. And Brian, Seamus Kennedy said to say hello to you guys.
Seamus. I just saw a picture of him on Facebook. Not to be confused with Tommy Byrne, by the way. As they were joking about, they look a little bit. One of the greatest musician singers ever. I mean, we met when we were both kids, even though I think he may be a year older than me, a couple of years. But anyway, the Harper Bard.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people I met because of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of Eugene. It was all Eugene's fault. I keep telling, I'll never ever stop saying that. But great entertainer, great musician, Seamus. Very funny guy.
Yeah, it certainly
he
is.
owes me $20, and I will not forget that.
Now, is there interest on that or what?
Oh, there will be.
There's great interest.
Yeah, great song, by the way. The beer song.
Yeah.
Great bit. I like that very much.
Yeah.
I'll be doing that next week.
I'll be
Seamus.
sorry, I'm doing
That's
it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what
Guy
we'll
at
do.
work.
Yeah.
Now, why did they ever close the Hoppin' Bar?
There's many stories. It just.
I know. I never heard anything to.
It was time. They get a little too big. You know what
That's
I mean?
too bad.
But you know, it's, like I said, there's so many stories, but it really doesn't matter because you know what? It's like anything else. You got to remember the good stuff and
Yeah.
And we were talking about it 40 years later. So
Isn't
Yeah.
that funny? You mentioned that name today.
Yeah.
And the family, one of the family members who were very dear friends of mine, the Mitchell family, one of the owners. Kids, I went to school, and so did my brother John. We all went to St. Mary's together.
Yeah,
One of the owners'
right.
kids went to St. Mary's. Chris and Ann Mitchell, rest their souls. Well, their kids are still very close. I just talked to their daughter Jeannie just a week ago.
Oh, isn't
And
that
Chris,
something?
their son, who's a reporter over in Jerusalem, was one of my classmates. I mean, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, what I mean,
Right.
you mentioned the Hoppin' Bar today, and
Yeah.
still people remember.
Oh, of course they do. Yeah.
Especially musicians. Man.
Oh, absolutely.
We
You
just had
can't.
so many musicians there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Seamus, you know. Yeah, we were both a little bit had more hair. I think both of us. Then.
I think everybody did back then.
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. So you have another live tune for us?
Tell me, Ma, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pull my hair and steal my comb, but that's alright till I go home. She's handsome, she's pretty, she's the belle of Belfast. She's a golden one today, tell me who is she? Captain Mooney says he loves her, all the boys are praying for her. Knocking on the door and they're ringing the bell, singing, oh my true love, well. Out she comes and the way the snow wings and the finger bells and the phone. Old Turner Mother, he says he'll light as he gets the throw of the roof at night. He told me, Ma, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girl alone. My hair and steal my comb, but that's alright till I go. She is handsome, she is pretty, she is the belle of Belfast. She's a golden one, tell me who is she? And the rain and the hail blow high, and the snow come tumbling from the sky. She's as sweet as apple pie, she'll whirl that by and by. When she gets so loud of her own, she won't tell a man when she comes home. The boys come as they all for Talbot Moon, and she was still. Tell me, Ma, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pull my hair and steal my comb, but that's her end I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she is a belle of Belfast. She's a golden one, she won't tell me who is she. It's on me, Ma, when I go home, the boys will leave the girls alone. Pull my hair and steal my comb, but that's her end I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she is a belle of Belfast. She's a golden one, she won't tell me who is she. Shave and haircut. Tell me, Ma. We'll be singing that a lot in the tour, you know, up in Belfast. Yeah.
That's great tune by the Ben Parisi and Brian Corcoran here on Sounds of the Emerald Isle. Let's play another song by Richie O'Shea, who passed away yesterday. This one is called The Galtee Mountain Boy. Okay,
Where did he live?
What do you authorize the comments on?
Yes, yes.
The Clancy Brothers and Tommy Makem from 1962 here on Sounds of the Emerald Isle. That was a very rare version of that song, because that song, that version of it I just played, that was only released on the stereo version of that album back in 1962. The mono version of the album at the time had a different version of 4 songs, actually, and that was one of them. Here on Sounds of the Emerald Isle, where we have Brian Corcoran and Ben Parisi. Hello again, guys.
Hi.
They've been singing up a storm today. We're talking about a trip to Ireland that they're going to have. Sounds like a great trip to me.
A lot of fun.
Reminiscing about some old times that and people we knew and stuff like that.
By the way, I think Seamus is 76 now.
That's Brian, not me.
So, you get another live one for us?
We'll do, send this out to Corey and Molly and Kylie. I love the prison wall. I heard a young girl call me. Michael, they have taken you away. For you stole through Lion's Court, so the young may see the more. Now the prison ship lies waiting in the bay. The small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing. We'd have dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. By the prison wall I heard a young man call me. Nothing matters, Mary, when you're free. Against the famine and the crowd I rebelled and they cut me down. You must raise our child with dignity. Where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing. We'd have dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. By the harbour wall she watched the last star fall me. As the prison ship it sailed against the sky. Now she hopes, she dreams, she prays for her loving Botany Bay. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. Where once we walked the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing. We'd have dreams and songs to sing. It's lonely round the fields of Athenry. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry.
Great song, right? Great song. Brian Corcoran, Ben Parisi on Sounds of the Emerald Isle here on WVBF 1530.
As a business in the Metro South region, have you wondered whether you have the right insurance in this dynamic business environment? Confused? You should be. How much? What kind? How big a deductible? RFD Agostino Insurance helps business cut the fat and waste in their insurance bill. RFD Agostino Insurance Agency, simple, straight talk about your needs, no matter how large or small your business is. As an agent for carriers, Mark and his staff at RFD Agostino shop around for the best plan and rates for your business. For 2 generations, RFD Agostino Insurance has been servicing the southern New England region. If you can't get to RFD Agostino Insurance, call 800-698-0414 and Mark DiAgostino will come to you. You need to visit RFD Agostino at their new location at 7 Christie Drive off Pleasant Street with easy access to Route 24 in Brockton. Plenty of parking and ready to serve all of your business, residential, and personal insurance needs. Call 800-698-0414 today. You and your pocketbook will be glad you did. Beam and Structural Repair is a Massachusetts and Rhode Island company with over 50 years of experience. They can save you thousands and even tens of thousands of your hard-earned dollars, whether it be repairing your home, garage, or barn. Beam and Structural Repair's team of specialized craftsmen bring workmanship and attention to detail to a new level. They do post and carrying beam repair, sill replacement, barn restorations, buildings jacked, foundations repaired, termite and carpenter ant damage remediated, remodeling, porches, new home, and office construction. Beam and Structural Repair specializes in residential residential and industrial structural repairs. For an estimate, call them at 800-732-8330, and you'll be amazed at how much you'll save. They're located in Whitman, Massachusetts. Beam and Structural Repair is licensed, insured, and has an extensive list of references. Walt Murphy and his associates are very proud to announce Beam and Structural Repair's connection with Angie's List, and over 20 years of not one complaint with the Better Business Bureau. This just shows you can be confident in calling Walt Murphy at Beam and Structural Repair at 800-732-8330 for your next project.
Jim Larkin with a touch of Ireland.
What was the best pro-life song?
Casey was going down the street one day and he met Murphy. And Casey had a bag on his back. God bless you, mister. And Murphy says to Casey, he says, Casey, if I can tell you how many pigs you have in that bag on your
little
back.
bitty tears.
That's what I was. That's I love.
One of them.
Spoil my act.
And Casey said to Murphy, if you can tell me how many pigs I have in that bag on my back, he says, you can have the two of them.
He recorded a lot of record albums.
Murphy says 3.
Okay, here we go. That is Noel V. Gennady here on Sounds of the Emerald Isle on WVBF. My name's Jim Larkin. If you want to check out our webpage for this show, it's www.irishradio.homestead.com. Let your friends know you can get this show anywhere in the world. And we have Brian Corcoran and Ben Parisi with us again. Hi, guys.
Hey, James.
You guys sound awesome today, and I can't wait to get this video on YouTube because I get excited when I see this kind of music, and I can't wait to share it with people and have everybody enjoy what I'm enjoying. It's just great.
You know how hard it is for me not to pick my nose off?
Oh, stop that.
And I know that like I told you many times, I think the first time I saw you guys was at the Hop and Bod,
Sure.
and I was not of age at the time either.
Right.
So
Yeah,
but I was 6'3" when I was 15.
Taller than I was.
Yeah, so I had no problem, getting served.
And when the age went down to 18, I was 21.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Because I'll be honest with you,
Yeah.
when I first sang with my brother John, my dad said, because remember I was 16,
Yeah.
the first beer, the first one, you know what is off the stage until you're 21. And that's the way it was.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
And bless your heart, Dan O'Brien. I'll tell you a quick funny story. And I was, it's okay now because everybody's gone, but I wasn't of drinking age, and at the end of the night he said, bring this pint, he gave me a pint, he said, bring it downstairs to the office. So I brought it down to the office, and there was no one there. So I picked up the phone, those days you could hit a button and it would ring the bar, and I said, Dan, there's no one here. He said, well, okay, then get rid of the beer. I said, okay. So I remember I dumped the beer in the sink, and I brought it up and I put it in the bar. And when you dump a beer out, you can see how it foams on the side of the glass. I said, there you go, Dan. He said, wait. He said, what'd you do? I said, I dumped it in the sink. He said, listen, stupid. When I give you a beer to bring down to the office, this means it's for you. And I was pretty close to drink age at that time. I said, oh, I wasn't too sharp, I guess, But it was different trying to sit in the office by myself, there's no one to talk to having a beer. It was like, that's how alcoholics start, I think, but anyway.
Yeah, this guy, he was the smartest, funniest guy in the world.
Bless your heart.
He would, that's what he used to say, bless your heart.
Maybe that's when they wrote the beer song.
Oh, maybe. Great guy. And anybody remembers the Heart and Bride, remember Dan.
He used to have a piece of toast every night, but only add half of it, with 4 pats of butter on it.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And he would eat it in 4 bites.
Oh, jeez.
Alright, I know they're going to bang on their laptops, they're going to bang on their phones. We're going to get them with us. And it's no day, never. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No day, never, no more.
Well, I'm
Away the wild rover. No, never, no more.
Well, I've been a wild rover for many years, and I spent all my money on whiskey and beer. And now I've returned with gold in great store. Sure, I never will pay the wild rover no more. And there's no day,
Never. No day, never, no more.
well, I
Play the wild rover. No, never, no more.
I went into an alehouse I used to frequent, and I told the landlady my
wine with delight. She says, I have whiskey and wines of the best. Sure, the words that I spoke were only in jest, and it's no, nay, never. Oh, nay, never, no more. Will I play the louder over? No, never, no more. I'll go home to me parents, confess what I've done, like confess and the pardon, there go son. And when they caress me as oft times before, sure I never will play them out no more. And it's no, nay, never. Oh, nay, never, no more. Will I play the louder over? No, never. One more time for the giver. And it's no, nay, never. Jewish fish. Oh, no, nay, never, no more. Will I play the louder over? No, never, no more.
Fantastic. Oh, this is awesome. You guys are just great. Ben is playing the upright acoustic bass. It's a huge instrument. I mean, it's taller than he is. Probably even taller than I am, and I'm 6'3". How tall is that, by the way?
Oh, well, you can make it up to about 6'8".
Oh, okay.
But then it's almost hard to play because you have to reach your hand up.
Yeah.
So this is maybe about 6'4".
Does it have a make to it? Is there a make?
They make a thing called a... Don't tell me. I'm only a music teacher. Keep singing. I like that.
What are you trying to think?
There's a bass that's over a story high, and you can't put your fingers down. You actually pull levers that pull like rubber things across, and you just it's called an octo bass.
Wow.
I'm thinking of what it was called, but an octo bass. It's a useless instrument because it actually plays so low that the human ear can't hear it.
Right.
There you go.
Well, there
That's
you go.
fantastic. Well, you do a great job on that one that I can hear.
Hey, I didn't start it.
And Brian, you're playing what kind of guitar?
Taylor.
A Taylor guitar.
It's my Martins, but it's okay. I'm plugging for everything. No one's advertising on the show anyway. Not from them. But no, I have a Taylor. And actually, this was a gift from Ben.
Oh, fantastic.
Long time when you turned 50.
When I turned 50. We had never bought each other a birthday present, Christmas present, anything.
No, still don't.
Because when we were in our 20s, we said if we live to be 50.
Yeah.
Because when you're 20, that's like a different.
That's right.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll get each
yeah.
other. So
Yeah.
he got
So
me
I got the
this
guitar, and they took me on a trip.
Wow.
to a casino for a while.
And speaking of trips, you guys are...
Yes, the big trip
You have
coming up
the
is in
big trip,
July.
yeah.
And again, I'll give it one more plug, tourislandwithbrian.com. All the itineraries there, the pricing information. Brack Tours, so we go with Peter Clark and Brack Tours, and I know they're listening over there, Nuala and Sinead, hi gang, and James. Where they also have a bracktours.com if you want to use a credit card and stuff like that, but anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Not being Irish, although my grandfather was born in Belfast.
Isn't that fun?
The parents, the grandparents, great-grandparents were leaving Scotland to go to Nova Scotia. The boat broke down, if a boat can break down, a ship.
Mm-hmm.
And they pulled into Belfast for repairs.
And that's where
He was born. So
Wow.
I have connections.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, isn't this year a big year in Ireland?
Oh, it's the anniversary, sure, the 1916 of the uprising.
Yeah, that's right.
And Brack has tours going that time of the year too. So
come with us because
we're going in
it's
July.
the anniversary. Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful time of the year to go.
Wave the
And,
red, white, and blue.
tourislandwithbrian.com. And again, my phone number, you can call me. You have any questions, 508-451-6973. You can reach me on my email through Tour Ireland with Brian.
I have a question. Should I call you or should I just ask you?
What do you mean?
Well, I have a question about food again.
He wants to call my phone.
No, the first
Oh, yeah,
thing you
what
told me
my daughter
when
told
I
me.
asked how was
Yeah.
the food, he goes, You can't believe the soup. I'm
And
a
the brown
soup
bread.
guy. We're from
Yeah.
New England. We
Yeah.
eat
Right.
soup
Sure.
like it's coffee.
My daughters
Absolutely.
just texted me, Molly and Kylie, and said, "Don't forget to mention the soup."
The
The
soup.
And the brown bread.
Soup and
To me,
brown bread.
everybody's been on the tour. Will tell you that.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
absolutely.
So anyway, we hope we do have seats available, and come with us. This is what the fun we're having today. This is what we do every day.
Yeah,
Sit with me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sit next to me.
Well, don't sit next to Ben.
Absolutely.
You'll eat well.
Yeah. But it's a great time. So
All right,
hope
so
you enjoy this.
you have another live song
I
for
will do
us?
this song. My mother-in-law Mary likes this song. We call her the Queen Mary. And also, I heard Jennifer likes this song.
Yeah.
We're speaking of the Village Con, where the movie The Quiet Man was made.
Oh,
I met some folks who say that I'm a dreamer, and I've no doubt there's truth in what they say. Sure, body's bound to be a dreamer when all the things he loves are far away, and precious things are dreams unto an exile. They take him over land across the sea, especially when it happens he's in exile from that little lovely isle of Innisfree. And when the moonlight peeps across the rooftops of this great city, wondrous though it be, I scarcely see its beauty or its laughter. I'm once again back home in Innisfree. I wander o'er green hills and dreamy valleys, and find a peace no other land could know. I hear the birds make music fit for angels, and watch the rivers laughing as they flow. And then into a humble shack I wander, my own sweet home I tenderly behold. The folks I love around the turf I gather, on bended knee the rosary is told. But dreams are lost, though dreams are not forgotten, and then I'm back to stern reality. And though they pave the footways here with gold dust, I still would choose my Isle of Innisfree. Isle of Innisfree.
That one makes me cry, Paul.
Ben Parisi, Brian Corcoran, thanks so much for joining me
good to
this
see you, Jim.
afternoon.
It's our
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure here
Always a
too.
pleasure.
Can't wait till you come back again.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right, and good luck with the tour. Keep us posted, and don't forget, tell your friends anywhere in the world you can listen to this show, www.hometowntalkradio.com, and remember some of the folks that sponsor us here: Frida's Fine Food and Spirits in West Bridgewater, D'Agostino Insurance in Brockton, Beam and Structural Repair in Brockton, and of course St. Joseph's Manor in Brockton. And that's going to do it for me today, and we'll have this video up on YouTube that we did today, hopefully within the next week. Keep
Bye,
checking
Quinn.
YouTube, type in WVBF Radio, you can see all the videos we've recorded here. And have a great week, everybody. I'll be back next Sunday from noon to 2 with 2 more hours of Sounds of the Emerald Isle. And in memory of the great Richie O'Shea, who passed away yesterday, we're going to end the show today with a song that I've ended the show with many of the years I've been on. A great song that Richie sings called May the Good Lord Bless and Keep You. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next Sunday right here on WVBF.
Okay. Who's playing today? What game is on?
Bless and keep you till we meet again. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet
listening to the voice of Southeastern Massachusetts for local news, sports, and weather. AM 1530, WVBF, Middleborough, Taunton.